Gentlemen, let me hit you with something that may shock you. If you're a man over 60 and you wake up in the morning feeling weak, sluggish, or disappointed in your performance, it may have nothing to do with age itself. In fact, what if I told you that all it takes is sucking on one small natural spice just 15 minutes before bed to completely transform the way you feel in the morning? Imagine waking up not drained, not frustrated, but with strength, vitality, and confidence pulsing through your body again. Most men never hear about this, and yet it's been hiding in plain sight for centuries. I am Dr. A, Professor of Urology and Men's Health at Baylor College of Medicine, and I've spent more than 30 years helping men reclaim their energy, their masculinity, and their performance. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who thought their best days were long gone, only to discover that the right nightly ritual could give them back everything they thought they had lost. And here's the surprising part. The decline you've been told is just aging isn't inevitable. It's not the truth. The real problem is that your body has stopped getting the support it needs. But when you know what to give it, your mornings can change dramatically, almost overnight. Do this one thing before bed, and you can restore stronger circulation, calmer nerves, deeper sleep, and yes, performance you haven't felt in years. In just a few minutes, I'll reveal exactly what you should be sucking on before bed and why this ancient spice is more powerful than most modern drugs. Stay with me because you will not want to miss this. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another tip designed to keep men over 60 strong, healthy, and confident. And if this topic speaks to you, drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me, or a 0 if you'd like me to improve and bring you even better content. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. Before I reveal the nightly spice itself, you first need to understand why so many men over 60 lose their strength in the morning. Because once you know what's really happening inside your body, the solution will make perfect sense. 1. Why morning strength? Why morning strength disappears after 60 disappears after 60. When I sit across from men in my clinic, men in their 60s and 70s who look me in the eye and quietly admit, "Doc, my mornings just aren't the same anymore." I can feel the weight of those words. It's not just about waking up without energy or without that morning drive. It's about the realization that something they once took for granted has slowly slipped away. I remember one patient in particular, a retired firefighter in his late 60s. He told me, "I used to wake up every day ready to take on the world. But now I feel like the world takes me down before I even get out of bed." His story is not unusual. As we age, our bodies begin to change in ways we can't see, but we certainly feel. Blood vessels that once carried oxygen-rich blood with ease begin to stiffen, making it harder for circulation to reach the areas that matter most. The production of nitric oxide, the invisible molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax and open, can drop by more than half after 60. Testosterone, the hormone of vitality and drive, slowly decreases year after year, leaving you with less energy, less desire, and less of that spark that makes you feel alive. Add to this the stress of daily life, medications for blood pressure or cholesterol, and nights of restless sleep. And it's no wonder so many men wake up drained, discouraged, and disconnected from the man they used to be. But I want you to hear me clearly. This decline is not your fault, and it is not the full story. Society often tells older men that fading strength, weaker erections, and low energy are simply part of aging. It's an easy excuse, but it's not the truth. The truth is that your body is still capable of strength, vitality, and powerful mornings. It just needs the right support. Think of it this way. A car that has run for 60 years can still roar to life if it's given the right fuel, the right maintenance, and the right care. Your body is no different. What I've seen again and again in my years of practice is that once men understand the real reasons behind their decline, they no longer feel broken. They start blaming themselves. They start to see that it's not weakness or lack of masculinity. It's biology. And biology can be supported, nourished, and even optimized. That's where hope begins. And here's where it gets even more personal. Losing your morning strength isn't just about what happens physically. It seeps into your confidence. It changes the way you look at yourself in the mirror. Some men even avoid intimacy with their partners, not because the desire is gone, but because the fear of failure overshadows it. That fear is heavy. It weighs down marriages, relationships, and self-worth. I've had men break down in my office, not because of pain, but because of shame. And I always remind them, shame has no place here. What you're experiencing is natural, but it is not permanent. So if you've been waking up tired, frustrated, or ashamed, know this. You are not alone, and you are not beyond repair. The very systems inside your body that seem to be failing you can be revived with the right tools. In fact, there's a simple nightly ritual that has helped countless men reignite their mornings, restore their vitality, and reclaim their manhood. You'll want to hear this because the solution might be far simpler than you ever imagined. And it begins with something so small yet so powerful that most men overlook it entirely. 2. The emotional weight of decline. The emotional weight of decline. Over the years, I've come to realize that when a man tells me he's lost his strength, he's not just describing a physical problem. He's revealing something much deeper, something that strikes at the core of who he is. I'll never forget one gentleman in his early 70s who sat across from me, his voice cracking as he admitted, "Doc, I don't even feel like myself anymore." His words carried a heaviness that was far greater than the loss of energy or physical ability. It was the loss of identity, of confidence, of the man he'd always known himself to be. For many men, performance is tied to dignity. It is tied to pride, to the feeling of being capable, wanted, and alive. When that begins to fade, it doesn't just stay in the bedroom. It spills into every part of life. I've seen husbands who stop reaching for their wives at night, not because the love is gone, but because the fear of disappointment has grown too strong. I've seen men who retreat into themselves, avoiding intimacy altogether until they become shadows in their own homes. And I've seen the quiet heartbreak in the eyes of their partners who miss the closeness and passion they once shared. The truth is, when performance declines, confidence follows closely behind. Men who once walked tall and certain begin to question themselves. Simple moments like looking in the mirror or holding their spouse's hand feel different because somewhere inside they are carrying the fear of not being enough. That fear can be heavier than any physical ailment. It erodes joy. It damages relationships and it leaves too many men isolated at a time when connection matters most. I can tell you from my years of experience that this struggle is more common than you think. Yet very few men ever speak about it openly. They carry the burden silently, pretending nothing is wrong, even as the weight grows heavier with each passing year. And here's the cruel irony. While many believe they are alone in this, the reality is that millions of men over 60 are walking the same path, carrying the same fears, and asking themselves the same painful questions. But here is what I always remind my patients. Decline does not mean defeat. Your worth, your identity, your masculinity are not defined by a number on a chart or a moment of failure. They're defined by your willingness to keep fighting, to keep seeking solutions, and to refuse to let shame have the last word. You are still a man of value, still capable of passion, strength, and connection. And there are ways, real and practical ways, to rebuild what feels lost. It begins with the courage to acknowledge the emotional weight you are carrying. From there, it becomes about taking steps, even small ones, that restore not just physical performance, but also the confidence and intimacy that make life rich and meaningful. And the good news is, those steps don't always come in the form of expensive medications or complicated procedures. Sometimes they come in the simplest of rituals rooted in natural wisdom that has stood the test of time. In fact, there's one nightly habit, so small and yet so powerful, that can help lift this weight off your shoulders and start rewriting the story of your mornings. You'll want to hear about it because it might just be the key to unlocking the man you've been missing. 3. The power of nighttime rituals. The power of nighttime rituals. I've often told my patients that what you do before bed has the power to shape the man you are in the morning. It may sound simple, even ordinary, but the truth is that the body uses the quiet hours of the night to do some of its most important work. While you sleep, your hormones reset, your blood vessels repair, and your nervous system begins to calm. That is why the hours leading up to sleep are not just about brushing your teeth or turning off the lights. They are an opportunity to prepare your body for the kind of strength and vitality you want to feel the next day. I remember speaking with a gentleman in his late 60s who told me, "Doc, I've tried everything. Exercise, supplements, even prescriptions. But my mornings still feel heavy and lifeless." I asked him to walk me through his nightly routine. He laughed and said, "Well,
I usually eat a late snack, scroll on my phone,
and fall asleep in front of the TV." Right there. It was clear to me the way he was ending his day was robbing him of the energy he needed in the morning. When we changed his nighttime habits, when we added a ritual designed to support his body instead of drain it, his mornings began to look completely different. The body craves rhythm and consistency. Just as a young man's body once ran on an engine of boundless energy, the older body runs best when it's given steady, reliable fuel. And nighttime rituals can be that fuel. Something as simple as what you put in your mouth before bed can influence circulation, stress, and even the quality of your sleep. It can mean the difference between waking up tired and sluggish or waking up alert, confident, and ready to take on the day. You see, the modern world has convinced many men that the only solutions are found in a doctor's office, inside a pill bottle, or through an expensive treatment. But the truth is, some of the most effective changes are within your control, and they start right at home. I've seen it time and time again. Men who take charge of their nights often find that their mornings come back to life. Their strength improves, their erections return with more reliability, and their sense of being a man begins to build itself naturally. It is not just about science, it is also about psychology. When you create a ritual before bed, you are telling yourself that you matter, that your health is worth protecting, and that your future is worth investing in. That small act of preparation can carry a profound emotional weight. It signals to your mind and body that tomorrow is not just another day. It is a chance to feel stronger, to be more alive, to reconnect with the man you want to be. And the best part, this ritual does not require complicated steps or expensive products. It is something simple, something natural, something so small you could hold it in the palm of your hand. Men for centuries have relied on it to restore energy, to calm the mind, and to enhance their performance without ever stepping into a pharmacy. In just a moment, I'll share with you exactly what this powerful nightly ritual is and why sucking on it before bed can transform your mornings in ways you never thought possible. What you should be sucking on for. What you should be sucking on. Now, we come to the part you've been waiting for. The piece of the puzzle that often makes men raise their eyebrows in surprise. It isn't a pill. It isn't some risky injection. And it certainly isn't a surgery. What I'm talking about is something small, natural, and yet incredibly powerful. It is clove. Yes, the very same spice you may remember seeing in your mother's kitchen cabinet or perhaps tucked into holiday recipes. But what most men don't realize is that clove has been treasured for centuries as a natural remedy for strength, vitality, and masculine health. Clove contains a compound called eugenol. And this little powerhouse is what makes such a difference. Eugenol helps improve blood flow by relaxing your blood vessels, which means more circulation reaches the areas of your body that need it most. It also reduces inflammation, calms your nervous system, and even supports better digestion. And all of these benefits work together to give you something every man over 60 craves, better performance, both in the bedroom and in everyday life. I remember one patient in his early 70s who had nearly given up. He told me, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore. I've tried those pills, and while they worked sometimes, they left me feeling worse the next day." I encouraged him to try something different. Each night before bed, he placed a single clove in his mouth and let it slowly release its oils for about 15 minutes. At first he was skeptical, but within a couple of weeks, his morning started to change. He began waking up more rested with more energy. And yes, he noticed a return of the kind of strength he thought was gone forever. Clove doesn't just work on the body, it works on the mind too. There's something deeply reassuring about knowing you are supporting yourself with a natural, safe, and time-tested remedy. Rather than relying on chemicals that mask the problem, the act itself, placing a clove in your mouth, letting it slowly release its flavor and oils, becomes a ritual of care. A reminder that you are investing in yourself, even at night when the world is quiet. And here's what makes clove even more fascinating. The benefits go beyond performance. Men who adopt this nightly ritual often report fresher breath, better oral health, reduced stress, and deeper, more restorative sleep. It's as if this one small spice whispers to the body, it's time to heal. It's time to restore. It's time to prepare for tomorrow. What amazes me most is how something so simple can have such a profound effect. In all my years of medical practice, I've seen countless men chase after complicated solutions, overlooking the fact that sometimes the answer is right in front of them, sitting on a spice shelf, waiting to be rediscovered. So the next time you think about what might bring back your mornings, don't look to the pharmacy first. Look to nature. Look to the clove. Because within that tiny bud lies the ability to spark circulation, calm the mind, and bring back the strength you thought had slipped away. And if you're wondering how something so small can truly outperform expensive pills and complicated treatments, then you'll want to hear what I share next, because the comparison might just change the way you see everything. 5. Why clove works better than pills. Why clove works better than pills over the years. I've had countless men come into my office with the same story. They lower their voice, glance down, and confess that they've been relying on the little blue pill. At first it felt like a miracle. Suddenly they had the power they thought was gone. But as time went on, the side effects crept in. Headaches, stomach upset, dizziness, even dangerous interactions with the heart medications many of them were already taking. One man in his late 60s told me, "Doc, it worked for a while, but I started to feel like a slave to it. If I didn't have that pill, I had no confidence." His words stuck with me because that is exactly the trap so many men fall into. Pills don't rebuild your strength. They borrow it. They give you a few hours of relief, but when they wear off, you're left right where you started, or sometimes worse. They address the symptom, but never the cause. And for many men, especially those over 60, the risks simply outweigh the rewards. I can't tell you how many men I've warned about the dangers of combining those pills with nitrates or blood pressure medications. The consequences can be life-threatening. And yet so many men continue because they feel they have neither option. That is where clove is so different. Unlike pills, clove doesn't force your body into temporary performance. It nourishes your body toward lasting vitality. The eugenol in clove gently supports healthy blood flow. So instead of squeezing out a few hours of function, you're actually strengthening your circulation over time. Clove helps calm stress, something no pill on the market can truly do. And when stress decreases, natural desire and performance increase. Beyond that, clove brings benefits that no synthetic medication can match. Fresher breath, healthier gums, improved digestion, and deeper, more restorative sleep. Pills can't do any of that. And here's something else I've noticed. When men choose clove over pills, they regain something they didn't even realize they'd lost: control. They no longer feel dependent on a bottle. They don't have to plan intimacy around swallowing a tablet and waiting for it to kick in. Instead, they build strength naturally night after night, and that confidence shows up in every part of their lives. Wives and partners often tell me they notice not only the physical difference, but also the emotional one. "He seems more alive," one woman said of her husband after he began his nightly clove ritual. "It's not just in the bedroom. It's in the way he looks at me, the way he laughs." Again, I share this because I want you to see the bigger picture. Pills may promise quick results, but they keep you chained to dependency. Clove offers a path toward freedom. It's a natural, inexpensive, and safe way to reclaim what you thought you had lost. And while it may sound too simple, I've witnessed firsthand the transformations it can bring. So if you're wondering how to make this part of your life, the next step is just as important as knowing what clove can do. Because how you use it and how you prepare your body to benefit from it will determine just how powerful the results can be. And that's exactly what I'll show you next. How to do it the right way 6. How to do it the right way. When I explain to men that clove can help restore their mornings, the first question I usually hear is, "All right, doc, but how do I actually do it?" It's a fair question, and one that deserves a clear, simple answer. Because just like with any remedy, the way you use it makes all the difference. Clove is powerful, but it isn't meant to be chewed up quickly or swallowed like a pill. Its strength lies in its oils, and those oils need time to release and absorb into your body. Here's what I recommend, and it's the same advice I've given to hundreds of patients who are looking for a natural, dependable way to bring back their energy and performance. Take 1 or 2 whole cloves, not ground powder, not extracts, but the actual dried buds. Place them between your cheek and gum about 15 minutes before you go to bed. And here's the important part. Don't rush it. Don't chew them up or swallow them right away. Instead, let the oils slowly seep out, savor the flavor, and allow your body the time to absorb what nature has placed in this tiny spice. I know the taste can be strong at first, sharp, even a little numbing. But many men grow to appreciate it because they associate that sensation with the change they start to feel in the mornings. One of my patients once told me, "At first I wasn't sure I could handle the taste, but after a week, I found myself looking forward to it. I knew it was working because I started waking up different." That kind of testimony is powerful, and it's what keeps me recommending this method to men who want more than quick fixes. Now, for those who truly dislike the strong flavor, there's another option. You can brew a simple clove tea. Just boil a cup of water, drop in 2 or 3 cloves, let it steep for about 10 minutes, and then sip it slowly before bed. The warmth of the tea combined with the gentle release of clove oils creates a calming effect that helps your body ease into restful sleep while still giving you the benefits of improved circulation. Many men actually enjoy this ritual because it feels soothing, almost like a signal to the body that the day is done and restoration is about to begin. Consistency is key. This is not about trying it once and expecting a miracle by morning. Like most natural remedies, it builds its strength gradually day after day. Over time, your blood vessels become more responsive. Your stress levels decrease, and your mornings begin to change in ways you can see and feel. What excites me most about this process is not just the physical improvements, but the mental shift. Men start to feel in control again because they've taken action with something natural, safe, and effective. And let me say this, there's something deeply meaningful about creating a nightly ritual that belongs only to you. It's a private moment, a choice to invest in yourself, and a commitment to your health that no one can take away. That small act of placing a clove in your mouth before bed becomes a signal to your body and your spirit that tomorrow will be different. But the question still remains, what happens after weeks of this practice? What real results can you expect, and how will it transform not just your mornings, but your life as a whole? That's where things get truly exciting. And it's exactly what we'll explore next. 7. The results you can expect. The results you can expect. One of the most rewarding parts of my work is seeing the look on a man's face when he realizes change is possible, when he finally experiences results after years of disappointment. I remember a man in his early 70s who had nearly given up. He told me, "Doc, I thought this was just the way life would be now. Weak mornings, restless nights, and no confidence left." But after a few weeks of using clove before bed, everything shifted. He began waking up feeling rested. His energy returned, and his mornings carried the kind of strength he hadn't felt in decades. His voice carried excitement when he said, "I feel like I've gotten a part of myself back." That sense of renewal is powerful, and it's not rare. So what exactly can you expect when you make this a part of your nightly ritual? First, men often notice stronger and more reliable erections in the morning. This is because the eugenol in clove improves blood flow, helping circulation reach the places that matter most. It doesn't happen in a single night, but with consistency, the difference becomes undeniable. Second, you can expect deeper, more restorative sleep. Clove calms the nervous system, allowing you to drift into the kind of rest that leaves you refreshed instead of groggy. Third, stress levels begin to drop. That constant hum of worry or tension that so many men carry starts to ease, and with it comes a lighter mood and a clearer mind. There are other benefits too, ones you might not even expect. Many men report fresher breath and healthier gums thanks to clove's natural oils. Others find that their digestion improves, reducing the discomfort that can often come with aging. And almost every man who sticks with it notices a surge in morning vitality, not just in the bedroom, but in daily life. They wake up ready to take on the day with a spark in their step and confidence in their stride. What strikes me most when I listen to these stories is that the change isn't just physical. It's emotional, relational, even spiritual. A man who feels strong in the morning carries that confidence into his marriage, into his family, and into the way he lives each day. Partners notice. Wives often tell me he's more engaged, more alive, more himself again. That ripple effect is what makes this practice so meaningful. It's not just about an erection. It's about reclaiming the parts of life that decline had stolen. And while results vary from man to man, one thing remains constant. Those who stay consistent see progress. The small act of sucking on a clove each night becomes more than a ritual. It becomes a turning point, a reminder that it's never too late to change the story. But if clove can bring such profound changes, you may be wondering what else is possible. Are there other natural steps you can take to amplify these results and protect your health even further? The answer is yes. And in the final part of this journey, I'll share something even more important. An encouragement that ties all of this together and shows you why your best days can still be ahead of you. 8. A word of encouragement. Word of encouragement. If there's one thing I've learned after decades of working with men, it's that the battle you fight isn't just in your body, it's in your mind and in your heart. I've sat across from men who looked down at the floor, ashamed to even tell me what they were going through. Men who once stood tall and proud, now feeling smaller, weaker, and invisible in their own homes. And every time I remind them of this simple truth, you are not broken. You are not finished. You are not beyond repair. What you've been experiencing, the weaker morns, the fatigue, the doubts about yourself, is not a final verdict on your manhood. It's a signal. It's your body saying it needs support, that it needs care, that it needs you to step up for yourself the way you've stepped up for others all your life. I think of men who served their families, who worked long hours, who carried heavy responsibilities for decades. And now in this season of life, they deserve to feel alive, to feel strong, to feel proud again. You deserve that too. Clove is not a miracle cure. It's a tool, a small natural way to begin shifting the tide back in your favor. But what it represents is much larger. It represents hope. Every time you place that clove in your mouth before bed, you're making a choice. A choice to believe that change is still possible. A choice to believe that your mornings can be better. A choice to honor yourself, not just as a man, but as someone who still has value, love to give, and life to live. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s reclaim their mornings with something as simple as this. And the change doesn't just stay in the body. It shows up in the way they smile again, the way they laugh, the way they hold their partner's hand. It shows up in the way they carry themselves with quiet confidence, knowing that they are still capable of passion and strength. That is what I want for you. So if you've been doubting yourself, if you've been silently suffering, let this be your reminder that you are not alone. Thousands of men are walking the same road, and many of them have already discovered that small, consistent choices can change everything. Don't underestimate what a nightly ritual can do, because sometimes it isn't the grand gestures or the expensive treatments that bring transformation. It's the simple act of caring for yourself day after day. And here's what I'll say to you now. Tonight, when the day winds down and the house grows quiet, remember this conversation. Take that one small clove, hold it in your mouth. Let it remind you that tomorrow can be different. Let it remind you that you still have strength left to claim, joy left to feel, and love left to give. Because as powerful as this nightly ritual is, it's only the beginning. There's something even more important I need to share with you. Something that ties everything together and shows you why your best years might still be ahead. And that's exactly what we'll uncover in the conclusion, and next step. Conclusion and next step, gentlemen. We've walked through the reasons why your mornings may feel weaker after 60, the heavy emotional toll that decline can take, and the surprising power of creating a nighttime ritual that supports your body while you sleep. You've learned about clove, a simple natural spice that can restore circulation, calm stress, improve sleep, and bring back the kind of performance you thought was gone forever. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s reclaim their confidence with nothing more than this nightly habit. And I want you to remember this. You are not broken. You are not finished. And your best days don't have to be behind you. Tonight, take a single step. Suck on a clove before bed. Let tomorrow morning remind you that change is still possible. And stay with me because in the videos ahead, I'll reveal even more powerful ways to keep your strength alive.